second to last game before the Olympic break for both the Calgary Flames and the New York Islanders. Let's bring you the starting goalies, brought to you by Intact Insurance. Your home, your auto, your business. Ask your broker about Intact Insurance Company. What Reto Berra wouldn't give for a little offensive help in his last 8 starts. Calgary has scored just 8 goals total. 4 were in one game against Chicago. And 38-year-old Evgeny Nabokov is in his 3rd season with the Islanders. His 1-0 shutout at Washington Tuesday was his 2nd of the season and 57th of his distinguished career. As Paul Byron, who sat out the last 4 games as a healthy scratch, had to come back into the lineup. That's how Bob Hartley described it. He had to get Paul Byron back in.
Without a doubt, he was playing at some of the best hockey before blocking that shot. In fact, last game in this building was his first National Hockey League game.
So the Flames trying to bounce back after a 2-0 setback in Montreal, while the Islanders trying to build off a 1-0 win in Washington. Both games were on Tuesday. These two teams will meet again in Calgary not that long from now, March 7th at the Dome. And it's the big line out there for the Islanders. Okposo, Tavares, and Vanek. Where will Thomas Vanek be come the end of the week or by March 5th on the trade deadline? Islanders with it, shot, and that's Vanek offering it up, goes wide. Ryan straight at the blue line. His pass taken away, and the Flames get it out. Lance Boma hit by Matt Donovan, who has the puck for the Islanders.
Rob, hard building to get yourself pumped up in today's game because it's an older building and it's not half full as of right now, and that's something you have to come in here and make your own noise. You go from the Bell Center in Montreal to this building. I like it's got character, but they're not going to be here for much longer. The Islanders one more season before moving into Brooklyn. Clutterbuck dumping it in on Chris Butler. Butler trying to get the puck out from behind the net. Grabner's there. Butler along the boards. Andrew McDonald with the puck. Gives it away, and Calgary are away out to center. David Jones to Butler. He'll tip it ahead. Jiri Hudler. Oh, Butler and Jones out there. Jones with the shot. Butler retreats to the blue line. Hudler has it. Out of the corner. He'll find Matt Stajan. Jones turning. Tracking his man Frans Nielsen. Stajan reaches and has the puck by in the net, and that's Hudler with it. Where is it? Jiri Hudler's pointing inside the net, but I don't think it's there. Keys to the game are brought to you by Budweiser. Great games are waiting. Flames have to get back to the way they were when they were successful. And that means they're getting in on a good, hard, aggressive forecheck. Try to disrupt the puck, get yourself some scoring opportunities. For the Islanders, they had a shutout last game, but it was 1-0. Their big guys have to score goals. John Tavares, no goals in his last 7. Vanek only has 1. So it's really a tough time for the Islanders if that number 1 line isn't scoring.
New York hasn't scored more than 1 goal in the last 3 games. And I think a lot of Flames fans know what that's like. Now we're going through a similar drought. The end of December into January, hoping it doesn't last here in the beginning of February. Shot from the point just whistles wide as Thomas Hickey got into all of that. Now race back to get the puck. Nabokov out of the net. Goes right up the middle. Brock Nelson finds Josh Bailey, the former first rounder back in 2008, dumps it in. Calgary with it. Here's the captain, Mark Giordano. His 9-game point streak came to an end Tuesday night in Montreal.
And that's too bad. They had some good looks. They had some good scoring opportunities. The big difference was Carey Price was on top of this game. So that's where you have to think very quickly about getting back to the same good habits.
Butler can't get his shot through. Steaming ahead with the puck. Cizikas. Long shot. Berra has it. And he will hang on. Face-off coming up in the Calgary end.
Jack Capuano doing a pretty good job as far as coaching here in the island. It's always been up and down, the guy behind the bench, but since he's come on board, it's been pretty consistent. A little rough start as they went through December, but since then, 14, 10, and 3. They're ranked 14th in the National Hockey League, having themselves out of the playoff hunt right now.
Of course, last year, made it into the playoffs in the lockout shortened season, lost to Pittsburgh in the first round, but boy, that was a fun series to watch.
Very emotional for a team that's really had, as you mentioned earlier, so much pride and so much history in this building. For them to get themselves back into the playoffs is a good start here.
Straight has it for the Islanders, and he'll play it over to Andrew McDonald. Up to Vanek at the line, taken away. Flames have the puck up the middle. Lead pass knocked down by Straight. Stajan trying to get in behind both blue liners for the Islanders. Now McDonald taking it away. His pass not quite onto the stick of the captain Tavares, and Brody will bring it in for Calgary. Shoots off the Nabokov. And a face-off coming up as you take a look at one of the National Hockey League's best point producers this season.
So Tavares tied second with Ryan Getzlaf as far as scoring, trailing Sidney Crosby by 13. But you really, we talked about earlier, Sean Monahan, you see how this young man has really progressed. And when he first got here, he was the show. There was no one else here. He had no supporting cast. So now you're looking at a Poso, Vanek, hopefully if they can keep him. I think that here you're getting some players offensively that can really help him.
Maybe the most impressive thing about Tavares is when he was drafted, very shy young man. Now, very much the leader, very much the man going to by the media in the locker room. And a nice stop from Reto Berra as that puck came out in front.
Tough luck kid right there. You start looking at Reto Berra has played very well. Maybe the odd goal he's given up that he'd like to have back, but he just needs to get some kind of offense. In the 23 games that he started, he's had 45 total goals to work with. So you're looking at he has to be almost perfect every night, and if the team can get going, scoring some goals in front of them, especially early, which we've seen as a good success with the Flames, it'll make a big difference for his development.
Flames shut out a league high 7 times, tied with a bunch of teams with that number, but Reto Berra has been in goal for 5 of those shutouts against. Michael Backlund in the corner. Turns away from McDonald, down low, finds Hudler. Nice pass in front, Stempniak trying to track the puck. It comes to Wideman. Looks for room, shoots off Nabokov. Stempniak as Brock Nelson tries to check on him. Straight, watches Hudler. Finds Backlund in the middle, can't get the shot through, moves it forward, and now it's taken out of harm's way by Nelson. Islanders gain the red line, dump it in. Bailey after it, puck comes off the boards. Played out to center. Tavares nearly cut it off.
Pretty good shift there for Hudler, Stempniak, and Backlund to get the Flames positive thinking as far as getting into the offensive zone.
Tavares along the boards, puck taken away by Joe Coburn. Monahan after it, Vanek with it. DeHaan, quick pass, back onto Donovan's stick, and he'll start up. Calgary out shooting the Islanders 3-2 early here in the first period. That one tips off Reto Berra, and it pops up the boards. DeHaan is there. Into the middle, deflects off an Islander all the way back to Nabokov. Crazy play in the Calgary end.
Reto Berra utilizing that size, and again, it's a little bit of luck in a save like that, but when he's square to the shooter, there's more of his body facing it, and he's able to knock down that Vanek tip as he was going to the net.
Lance Boma trying to hit Calvin DeHaan, nearly ended up in his own bench. Again, played out by Calgary, picked up by Lubomir Visnovsky. Visnovsky back in the lineup, missed a lot of time with injury this year. His pass to Zizekas. Gains the line, Martin shoots, misses. By Visnovsky and all the way back down.
Islanders showing a lot of speed early in this game, getting up through the neutral ice zone. Not very good on the accuracy so far as their shots on net, and that's something that they've talked about here is how quick this young team is.
Zizekas across the line, Byron checking on him. Martin behind the net, the NHL's hit leader. Takes a couple of hits himself. Puck comes back to the point. Visnovsky's there. Little trouble handling it. Islanders get it. Shot. Berra save. Rebound put wide. Way wide. And Russell comes over. Good jump for the Islanders to start this game.
And they have not been playing well as of late. It's just 1-4-1 in their last 6, as we mentioned. So they'd like to finish the run to the Olympic break on a good note.
They'll finish off at home against Colorado on Saturday. Calgary finishes off before the Olympic break Saturday afternoon in Philadelphia against the Flyers. Straight at the point. That one rattled around, comes back. McDonald's offering just went wide. Clutterbuck after it, and he'll give it up.
Dennis Wideman back to Hudler in close quarters. Gets a little help there from Ladislav Schmid. And the Flames get it deep. Nabokov out, has it. Feels the pressure, plays it. Grabner has it taken away. Flames did a nice job in Montreal of owning the offensive blue line, starting again here tonight against the Islanders. Stempniak, Camilleri, has Giordano, they cross. Flames captain back to Camilleri, he's tied up. Brock Nelson can't get it by the Flames forward. Chopped in behind the Islander net after it. Sean Monahan gets there first. Now he gets some help from Camilleri. DeHaan picks it up. He'll come right up the middle. Calgary recover the puck. This is Butler.
Islanders do a pretty good job of having their escape right up through the middle of the defensive zone. It'll be interesting if the Flames can make that adjustment.
Bailey after it behind the net. Side off the net or helmet of Reto Berra. Hard to see from this angle, but he made the stop. Brock Nelson authoring the shot. Nelson gets it back. Now shot by DeHaan, blocked. And the Flames clear the zone. Want to make a change. Monahan goes after it. And now he'll head off as the Islanders head back up the ice. Long shot on Berra. Stopped. Giordano with it. Finds Butler. 6-3. The shots now favor the Islanders. Boma's pass didn't make it through. Stajan following up. Gets it by Vanek, who just skated away. Boma can't get a shot in as it's blocked by Wisnowski. Can't get it back though. Jones can't hold the line. Giordano backhands it. Finds Stajan. Brody's settling things down. Okposo to Tavares. Back to Okposo with room. Moves it over. Stopped by Berra. It's behind him. Flames dodge a bullet. And Tavares can't get the shot clean. Vanek had a wide open net but couldn't beat Berra. Another stop by Reto Berra. Penalty coming up. And the Islanders will go to the power play. It's a scoreless hockey game here on the island thanks to Reto Berra. Stella's Flames hockey.
Rob, I think Vanek might have dollar signs here. He kind of just redirects it right here. He should be snapping that puck as hard as he can. Good piece of the puck saved by Berra, and then you have Stajan and Brody come in and steal it right off the goal line. Matt Stajan gets the holding the stick of John Tavares.
Islanders on the power play. Tuesday in Washington, I should say. They were 0 for 5 with a man advantage, and they've been 0 for 25 through their past 6 games, so things have gone really cold for the power play of the New York Islanders.
They have that one line that can be so deadly, and we just quite evident on that last shift where they made some things happen offensively.
Okposo with it, goes back to the point. Wisnowski to Nielsen. Wisnowski finds Okposo, but it goes between his legs. Flames trying to get it out, can't. But they get some help from the Islanders. Errant pass. And the home team has to regroup. Tavares across the line. Finds Vanek. Loads up, shoots. Berra got in front of it. Rolls out in front. Reto Berra with another stop. Strong first period for the Flames netminder. Vanek. Cross ice pass. Intercepted. Butler couldn't get all of it. And the Islanders keep it alive. 52 seconds to go in the first power play of the hockey game. Wisnowski blocked by Lance Boma. And that shot down the ice. Calgary's penalty killers able to make a change.
It's almost a save by Lance Boma. I think Johnny Bauer would have been proud of that one, the little kick save, but that's what he has been doing consistently all year, sacrificing that body.
Bailey across the line, has it poked off his stick. Brody got to it and got it beyond DeHaan. 25 seconds to go in the power play. Bailey to Nelson, bumped by Schmid, pucks over the line, brought in offside by Clutterbuck.
Talked about having their #1 line as their #1 unit. Okposo is able to bounce up very quickly, and you can see how the big man goes to the front of the net. You don't get all the points that he's been getting by standing on the perimeter. If there's one guy on that line, Okposo is the guy that'll drive hard to the net.
12th in the National Hockey League with 24 goals for Kyle Okposo. South of the border, a lot of people wondering why he's not part of the U.S. team going to Sochi.
Second highest scoring American player in the NHL.
Wraparound attempt, Berra's down. Stajan standing in the box, but 4 seconds to go in the minor.
So an important face-off coming up late in a penalty kill for Calgary.
A lot of confidence shown in Red Ibarra by Coach Bob Hartley, and why wouldn't you? I mean, the goal that was scored against him, it was 2-0 empty netter. You throw that one out right away, but it bounced off a stick, off a leg, and off of René Bourque for the only goal, really, that was scored in Montreal, so why not go back with him?
Jostling on the face-off. Bolton, Cizikas, and Martin are the forwards out there on the tail end of this power play. And that's causing a little havoc. Finally, they get the puck dropped and stage it out of the box. So the Flames 1 for 1 on the penalty kill in this game. Across the line, but it's offside. We are scoreless. Flames and the Islanders. A lot of talk about the Hobey Baker and Johnny Gaudreau, nominated last year, one of the 3 finalists, didn't win it. But anybody who follows college hockey down here saying he's got a legitimate chance of taking home Most Valuable Player Award in college hockey this year.
Ray Conroy, very giddy.
Yes.
In the morning skate last week, talking about the way Gaudreau has been playing.
And Bill Arnold. Also quick to point out Bill Arnold's having a good year. Islanders, lots of pressure here in the first period. Still unable to beat Red Ibarra. Shots 10-3 in favor of New York. Weidman intercepts it, plays it ahead to Yuri Hudler. He'll flip it in. Make a few line adjustments. Donovan has the puck for the Islanders. Played out by Michael Grabner. Clutterbuck at center turns, fires. Got lots of room, so he's able to dump it in and head off. Now the Islanders get fresh troops out. And again, that top line. Boy, the Islanders are sure playing that top line a lot early in this game.
Coach probably figures they're going to have 2.5 weeks off without practice. You might as well get the most out of them.
Backlund misfires. Gets the puck back, though. Trying to find someone to pass it to. Chases it to the boards. Boy, that was quite a battle between Tavares and Backlund, and finally the Islanders come ahead. Oposo plays it behind Brody. Giordano's there, whips it around. Backlund tips it, kept in. Vanek turns, shoots, blocked. Brody stepped in front of that. And the one-time member of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Brian Straight, has the puck. McDonald right to the blue line, onto the stick of Vanek, turns, fires, but David Jones was there to get it away from Oposo. He somehow manages to come up with the puck out of the corner to the middle, and Tavares reach, couldn't get to it. Boma plays it back to Brody, back to Boma. And the Flames hemmed in, finally get it out. Boma takes a big hit. McDonald caught him beautifully along the boards. Boma, though, not deterred, still after it. Gets it to Jones in front. Stajan takes a swipe at it. And here come the Islanders. Tavares. To Vanek, but it's offside. Scoreless Calgary, and that man's team, the New York Islanders. TELUS Flames Hockey.
Quite an honor for these young gentlemen to go represent the country. We talk about it every night. I mean, it's a given. You're so proud to, first of all, make the National Hockey League. Your number one goal is to win the Stanley Cup, but if you can win a gold medal along the way representing your country, I think that's pretty good.
Thomas Vanek will be the captain of Austria. Flames after it. Paul Byron out there, chopping it into the corner. TJ Galiardi has the puck. McGrattan slowing it down, but couldn't come up with it. Eric Bolton does. That's off Byron, and back down in the Calgary end. Weidman retreats. Sidesteps the pressure. Galiardi off the boards. Protects the puck to the blue line, gets it out. Now Ladislav Schmid, speaking of Olympians, the Czech Olympian dumps it in for Calgary. Puck played around the boards. Eric Bolton lifts it out through center. Matt Martin trying to come up with it, and it's chopped away from him. Here's Chris Butler for Calgary. Dumping it in. Not surprising, the Flames leading the Islanders in blocks 7-3 here in the first period, but maybe that speaks to the fact that the Islanders are out shooting Calgary 10-3.
We've had some good offensive time down in front of Red Ibarra.
Race for it. Mike Camilleri is going to get there first for Calgary. Colborne going to the front of the net, and he couldn't come up with it. That one shot just wide. Nabokov had to dance around that puck, didn't want it bouncing off him and in. Monahan helping out Camilleri. On the boards, squeezes free. Colborne finding Camilleri. No, pass went by him, comes back to Russell. Chris Russell at the blue line to Monahan, tipped away. Now a chance for the Islanders, 2-on-1. Clutterbuck with Grabner. Cal Clutterbuck to Grabner, and he couldn't make a connection. DeHaan gives it up as Russell has it for Calgary. His pass by everybody. And the Islanders pick it up in front of their own box.
A little bit of the quickness they were talking about here with the Islanders.
Don't remember Cal Clutterbuck being quick in Minnesota, but certainly was right there. Grabner, yes, but not Clutterbuck. Here's Bailey. Off the boards. Bounces to TJ Brodie. The Flames' young defenseman finds Jones with room. Shoots, just missed. Brodie into the corner, and a little bumping there is Boma. Couldn't get around his man. Zizekas took away the angle, but Calgary keeping it in. There's Boma. His shot dribbles in. Nabokov directs it away. Bailey nearly gave it up to Stajan, side of the net. Stajan's looking for it. Has it. And it's intercepted out of the air by Bailey. Down to the ice on his stick. And he's away. Finds Colin McDonald, the forward for the Islanders. Andrews the defenseman, Collins the forward. And Colin just got dumped, much to the chagrin of the fans. Hudler playing it in for Calgary. Stempniak steaming after it. Taken away, Vanek around the boards. Oposo has it poked off his stick. Backlund behind the net, still with it. Turns. Wisniewski intercepting Backlund, but the puck comes back to the point. Nabokov off the blocker. And Oposo will just play this one out to center. Bounces right to Chris Butler. John Tavares in on the forecheck, taking it away, and the Islanders have control. Stempniak along the board, can't get to it. Arms in the air, Tavares, one knee on the ice and a holding call coming up. And Mikael Backlund appears to be the guilty party.
Before that, big hit by TJ Brodie, finishing his check. This will be a holding call against Mikael Backlund's 2 penalties that John Tavares has drawn tonight for his team. On the wall, keeping the feet moving, and then the grab there as the puck had already slipped away from John Tavares.
Second power play of this game for the Islanders. 0 for 1 so far. McDonald over to DeHaan. Nelson loses it. Will the Flames be able to clear? No. Andrew McDonald keeps it in, down low. Puck intercepted. Boma out, has Stajan and Giordano. Giordano back to Boma on the backhand, knocked down and out of the play. And Nelson plays it to Bailey. Turn back, DeHaan following up, has it, crosses the line. Shot into the body, Barras stopped it. Flames get it, dump it down the ice. 2 minutes to go in the first period, 1:21 to go in the second power play.
Flames really focusing on the #1 unit out there with Vanek, Tavares, and Oposo. Unfortunately for the Islanders, they don't really have that big cannon from the point, a defenseman that really could open up the ice even more so for these talented forwards.
Frans Nielsen trying to get around. Schmid took away the boards, and the Flames take away the puck and dump it down the ice. 51 seconds to go in the power play.
Schmid with that big block shot the other night in Montreal against his hand doesn't seem to affect his skating or his physical play here tonight.
Islanders gain the zone. Oposo to Nielsen. Schmid knocks him down. Butler in digging up the puck. Comes to TJ Gagliardi. Nielsen gets it back. Hard pass around the board, but nobody there. All of the Islanders concentrated on the far side of the ice, and the Flames able to get the puck out. Oposo tries this again. Struggling at the blue line to get it deep. Still with it. Oposo gets it back at the blue line. Shoots, tip. Flames have it. Boma loses his stick. Giordano has the puck. Backlund out on the ice. Calgary 2 for 2 in the penalty kill here in the first period. Tavares into the middle. Andrew McDonald with it. Holds up. 28 seconds to go in the first period. Scoreless. Calgary and the Islanders. Shots favoring New York 11-5. Backlund to Colborne. His shot goes wide behind the net. Nabokov sweeping it away from Camilleri. Weidman to Colborne. Backlund dancing in the corner. Zizekas trying to get it away from Mikael Backlund. 7 seconds to go. Backlund looking for Weidman. Puck taken away, and that will do it First period comes to an end. The Islanders outshoot Calgary 11-5, but we are scoreless through one.
This period brought to you by the 2014 Toyota Corolla. All new styling, same quality, durability, and value. Available now at the Toyota Drive Home a Deal event.
No score after one period of play. When we come back, Brad Fay, John Shannon discuss the addition of Marty St. Louis to Team Canada. Well, the Calgary Flames had won 5 games at home and scored 20 goals doing it, but out here on the road, they're becoming hard to come by again for Calgary.
Everything didn't go their way right from the drop of the puck. The shots, the scoring chances were 6-2 in favor of the Islanders. And the one that really comes out and slams me right in the side of the head is the hits. Only 5 hits, which means you're not skating, which means the guy at the other end had to play pretty good in that first period. Reto Berra, good job in front, big goaltender. And when he's squared to the shooter and he's not moving around much, he can make big saves and then sometimes get some help from his teammates, Matt Stage and TJ Brodie, saving the day at that point. But most of the period, especially on the 2 power plays, a lot of blue jerseys standing in front, a lot of shots on net. Flames have to get their feet moving a little bit quicker here to start this second period. With the injury to Kari Ramo, the Flames recalled Joni Ortio on Monday, and what a great chance to be in the National Hockey League. Unfortunately for Ortio, he only gets to spend time with his teammates on off days and practices. Second game in a row, and he's been in a building where he's not on the bench. He was talking about that yesterday at the practice in Montreal and kind of kidded. He said, yeah, I got to know Clint Malarchuk, the goaltending coach, and Corey Osmak, the trainer. It's not bad. It beats being in Alaska, where he started this year in the ECHL. But he came up with some very interesting things when he talked about that first game in Montreal. And this is something where you're seeing the new breed of NHL hockey players, and especially goaltenders. He was studying how Carey Price was tending the net, how the shooters were shooting, where they're shooting for. This is all new to this young man, and that's a guy that's really on the fast track to getting himself an NHL start, and that's you have to do. You can't just sit there and gawk at all the banners, because there's a couple in this building too, Rob, with Stanley Cups and retired numbers.
Absolutely. There's history abounding here in New York on the island as we get set and underway here in the second period. And Berra gives it away to the wrong guy, John Tavares. And it's blockered away by Reto Berra, side of the net. He finds it, hangs on to it. And a quick start for New York. That's one of those ones where he says, oh, I better come up with a save here, because I just gave it away to the most dangerous guy on the ice. And he's laughing in between under the mask. I think Mark Giordano had to remind him also who that guy was. But again, very good focus there. As that's going through a crowd, it changed direction. You have Oposo off to his right, just waiting to bang at that loose puck. And the young goaltender comes up with the save again. At stage and charges out to center. Jones hit along the boards. Calgary still after it. Deep in the Islander end. Now New York's Oposo takes a look up ice over top of the captain. Vanek after it. Brodie's there for the Flames. Reverses it. Jones comes back to the puck, and he'll play it up along the boards. Straight. Sets up. Has all kinds of options. One of them is Andrew McDonald, and he'll come right up the middle, but he hits Frans Nielsen, and it bounces right back in the Islander end. Nielsen across Calgary's blue line. On the backhand, sharp angled shot through the blue paint. Straight will keep it alive. Giordano after it. Now Brodie won't get there in time. Nielsen gets it back into the slot. That's blocked by Michael Backlund. Straight to Grabner. Well, Giordano has it for Calgary, who are on their heels to start the second period. Hudler out at center. He'll chase it back into his own end. The Islanders have to touch up. They were caught offside. Calgary with some room. Stempniak. Michael Backlund rolling it in, and back to pick it up is McDonald. Bailey calls for it, but McDonald holds on. Hits the red line, and he'll pump it into the Calgary end. Berra out to slow it down. Shuffles it along the boards. Camilleri looking for it. And it's taken back over to the other side. Colborne is there. Pass onto the stick of Camilleri. Monahan and Weidman joining him. Weidman off the board, shoots. Nabokov got a toe on it. Monahan looking for it. Camilleri comes over to block it off. The Islanders unable to clear.
get it back to the point. Kept in, Weidman loses it. Now a chance brought out by Colin McDonald. Turns, finds Bailey. McDonald kind of spun out of the place, back up on his feet, and he has the puck. Schmid comes over, taps it away from him. Monahan after it, but Cizikas gets there first. Colin McDonald to Casey Cizikas. In front, oh, wide open is Josh Bailey, but he couldn't pull the trigger. Bailey gets it back. Cizikas out in front, and the Flames block that one off and play it off the boards. Can they get it out? Yes, they do.
Well, they really need to get it out. Camilleri lost the stick right at the beginning of that period.
Big rebound, and all kinds of bodies go flying, but the puck stays out. And Calgary on the attack. Paul Byron won't get to it. Dumped back down the ice. Schmid after it. And this will be an icing call, as it's all Islanders to start the second.
Reto Berra really coming up with the first save. Big rebound. Cizikas going hard at the net. Gets a little bit of help from Schmid, and Schmid also does a good job of avoiding his own goaltender. Right through the middle, number 53, right there up and over the top. Reto Berra very focused on that rebound, as Mike Camilleri lost his stick. And the Islanders have continued to come out here very strong in the second period.
Have the scoring chances 9-2 in favor of the home side so far, as Calgary unable to get their skating legs going. One thing we haven't seen a lot of in this game are face-offs, just 11 total in the first period.
Fortunately for the Flames, only winning 2 of the 11.
Well, I wasn't going there. That's not a great number. Butler's shot in, and Nabokov has it. And McGrattan dumped in front of the Islander netminder.
Rookie Matt Donovan trying to help out his goaltender. And there's the hit. Dahan, the youngster, first round pick of the Islanders, going hip onto David Jones. Physical defenseman. I think we've got some good quality forwards with the Islanders. And now you're looking at some young defensemen that they're trying to develop.
They'll get Travis Hamonic back in the lineup on Saturday against Colorado. He took the morning skate, but not quite ready to go. Flames infirmary a little smaller than it's been all year. Curtis Glencross expected to come back after the Olympics from the ankle injury, and Kari Ramo out with a knee injury, also expected back after the Olympics.
Perfect timing for Curtis Glencross. High ankle sprains, tough, and it takes a while to get over it, so to have a couple extra weeks would be good.
Jones and Boma colliding behind the net with an Islander. New York with the puck. Oposo, some nice moves, side of the net, and Tavares breaks his stick. No goals in the last 8 games for John Tavares. Probably didn't have a better look than he did right there. Berra, sensing he better slow things down, does that? No, he doesn't. He gets it from the referee to move it, so he does. Always apply the information you get from the officials, and in this case, it was move the puck. Stajan loses it. Wisniewski nearly lost it. It bounces right out to the blue line. Turn, Hudler's shot blocked by Tavares. He squeezes the knees, and now he's across the line. Finds Wisniewski, backside pressure. Puck comes through the blue paint again. Vanek off Berra, in front, and it's chopped away from Oposo. Hudler playing it ahead, but not out. Yes, it does. Tavares couldn't hold the line. Looked momentarily as if Calgary weren't going to get it out right at the top of the blue line. Dumped down Nabokov behind of the net.
How good is that line with the Islanders right now? We said that they hadn't scored much in the last 6 games, but before that they were on fire. And Tavares, Vanek, and Oposo putting on a little bit of a clinic here.
All the trade rumors swirling around Thomas Vanek. Maybe this is the last time they play as a unit. Russell to Joe Colborne. Turns along the boards. His pass goes awry, but Camilleri looking for it. Wisniewski behind the goal line. Watched by a pair of Flames. He'll move it ahead. Here come the Islanders. Grabner has it in his feet. Off the boards. Berra slows it down. It's picked up. Russell comes right up the gut. And his pass onto the stick of Colborne with Camilleri. Mike Camilleri. Bullet pass to the point. Weidman is there, and he comes out of the zone, and he'll retreat.
deflects into the Flames bench. Whistle goes. And we've got a whistle. Calgary and the Islanders scoreless here in the second period. It's TELUS Flames hockey.
Tavares, yes, you're going to the Olympics, but no, you haven't got a goal tonight. He's had some good looks. Oposo does a great job on TJ Brodie here. But watch the head of Matt Stajan right at the last second. It's on a swivel. He realized that the most dangerous guy's behind him. He's looking. Oh, he wanted to be hypnotized by the puck so much, and all of a sudden you turn your head and you make a great defensive play as he gets out there with his stick and actually broke the stick of Tavares as the puck was getting to it.
Scoreless here in the second period. Tavares playing already 10.5 minutes of this hockey game. Gagliardi shot up and into the screen.
Pro Hockey Life, the ultimate hockey megastore.
So Gagliardi, Byron, and McGrattan stay out there. TJ Gagliardi takes the draw, wins it. Schmid, a heavy shot. That didn't miss by much. Weidman trying to catch Nabokov. Napping. That one also whistling wide. Gagliardi off the boards. Puck comes back to Martin, and he'll flip it back into the Flames' end. Weidman there for Calgary. Weidman, a couple of seasons ago, an all-star with the Washington Capitals. There's that pass by everybody, an icing call, and they face off all the way back down in the Calgary end.
Don't get to see the Islanders too often. In fact, Dennis Weidman, when he was on the East Coast, he's played the team the most of anybody on the Flames. 22 games out of a total of 122 total man games played by the Flame players. There's half the team hasn't seen the Islanders in their career.
So the line of McGrattan, Gagliardi, and Byron trapped out there. And the Islanders send out the big line, trying to take advantage. Tavares. Oposo, his shot whistles wide. Vanek has it. Now the puck taken away by Weidman. Looking for McGrattan. Brian McGrattan with room. And the shot deflects up high as Brian McGrattan. The end of a long shift, Charlie. I'm not sure he had it in the tank to make that a 1-on-0.
Caught out there in the icing call. Watch the play by John Tavares. It'll slide through the legs, little bounce, and then change of direction. Looked like it was going to be a pass to Oposo, and he got the top of his stick on it and then almost bunted it behind the goaltender Retabera. And that's the advantage, I guess, if you're looking at that icing call, if you don't have the right players out there.
Loma waiting for it, but the puck taken away. Nelson for New York, across the line, and it's brought back in offside. Good play by Mark Giordano with the blue line.
Pretty accurate call, I think, by the linesman also, as that puck just came out over the line. Giordano holding that line, and then he only can do that if that's the forwards are coming back hard. And that last shift was Lance Boma, who is coming down the right side here just to make sure that he allowed Giordano to stand up on that blue line.
Butler's pass by Hudler, no icing. Nabokov out. He plays it away from pressure. Kenny Nabokov at 38, seen it all, so very calm handling the puck. He's had no problem playing it right in front of his own net tonight.
They've used that route quite a few times in the first period to take away a little bit of the pressure against the defenseman.
Here's Michael Backlund, third star in the National Hockey League this week. Backlund with 8 points in his last 5 games. Stempniak turns around, his shot doesn't make it through. It's picked up and Colin McDonald comes ahead. Sidesteps a big check from Butler, who came a long way over to deliver it. We're just talking about Michael Backlund, and boy, things are coming together for number 11, aren't they?
It would be such a big thrill for the young man. You can see how his career has progressed as far as points, games played, even more importantly. Right now, 55 games, 13 goals. Second year, he had a pretty good start. They ran into a lot of injuries. Not huge injuries, enough just to take away the momentum.
Penalty coming up. Flames had control. It's an interference call, and the Islanders will go to the power play for the 3rd time in this game.
Joe Coburn gets the interference call, and these are calls right off the face-off. We're just trying to buy time for Schmid right in the center of your screen. Impedes the progress. Right there, Colin McDonald.
Well, the Flames had only given up 7 power play opportunities against in the previous 7 games. This is the 3rd one tonight for the Islanders. Tavares, cross ice pass. Oposo back up top. Wisniewski, and it's kicked away by Berra. Wisniewski, Tavares. Oposo shoots and he misses. Nielsen gets it, feels the pressure right away as Giordano comes over. Tying up Nielsen's stick, puck comes around the boards, but Oposo is there. Turning away from Boma. Down low, Vanek behind the net. Oposo, Tavares gets the puck, whips it, off Giordano, gets it back. On Tavares, floats one at the net, battle for it, Berra knocks it to the corner, Oposo back to the point, Wisniewski, Tavares loads up high. Oh, Giordano and Tavares comes over right away and says, we, didn't mean to do that. Or did he?
Well, no, it was a good hard shot. That's what he meant to do. But when Giordano comes out, he catches it up in the top of the blade right here, and it goes up higher than he wanted it to go. There's no way he wants to shoot that high from there. You can see very quickly he goes right at him, and he's okay, because that's such a dangerous part of the game when you see how Lance Boma, Mark Giordano throwing themselves in front of shots like that. And if it goes a little bit too high, you've really got to be active as far as being able to get out of the way.
Nice classy move by the Islanders captain to go over and check on the Flames captain. Shot tipped on the way through. Bailey parked in front of Berra, has the puck. Bailey. Andrew McDonald watched by Backlund. DeHaan. McDonald can't handle it. Puck pops out. 40 seconds to go in the Islanders' 3rd power play of the game. Hard to fathom why the Islanders are struggling. 0 for 27 prior to this particular power play with all the talent they have.
Well, you can see the #1 unit is very dangerous. They're one that if they don't score in that first unit, it really drops off as far as depth of talent. But the penalty kill for the Flames has been very good as of late, getting better on the road.
Well, really good at home, on the road. And you know what hurts them, Charlie? That game in Montreal. They give up 1 power play late in the game, and it results in an empty net goal, which is a power play goal, and your numbers take a hit.
Well, it contributes, and what happened to the Flames didn't get off to a good start at the beginning of the year, and when you get that poor start, it really takes a while for you to dig yourself out of that hole.
Oposo hits Giordano with the puck. 10 seconds to go in this power play. Staging at the line as Giordano blows a wheel. He's back up. Just 3 shots so far in the 3 power plays for the Islanders tonight. So Calgary keeping the pucks away from Berra. Penalized player back out on the ice. Flames 3 for 3 with the penalty kill. Oposo at the blue line. His shot just misses. Sharp angled shot, and that one's knocked down by Berra. Oh, Reto Berra looks like he is very composed tonight. And the Flames bring this one in. It's offside as we are scoreless at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum here in the 2nd period. It's TELUS Flames hockey. Take a look at Lee Stempniak, one of the classiest individuals you will meet on the Flames roster. Calgary and the Islanders scoreless. Flames with just 7 shots so far in the hockey game in total. Islanders have 17. 3 power plays though for New York. Calgary yet to have the man advantage. Colborne trying to get it out. A little help from Sean Monahan. He'll tap it to the red line. Cal Clutterbuck following up. Clutterbuck hurt himself rather dramatically in Calgary in the preseason when he went to try and hit Paul Byron. Suffered a nasty leg injury that robbed him at the start of the year, but he's back and okay.
Tough for a player like that to come to a new team and have that type of injury. That was a good save there.
That was a little bit sneaky. That was very Charlie Simmer-like. Here's Monahan holding up, finds the trailer, but Weidman couldn't get to the puck. Matt Martin has it. Gives it up, and Weidman back to get it. Dennis Weidman taking a few risks here in the 2nd period.
Everybody jumping up into play. We've seen the Flames do that quite a bit, but it has to be proper timing. You can't just run up every shift. You want to make sure that there's a forward being able to be back defensively.
Butler. There's Zizekas draped all over him.
Martin loses the puck. Byron touched it before he brought it back as he knew it was offside, but made the play. Charlie, gives us an opportunity just to take a moment out. One of the true ambassadors and true gentlemen of the game, Pete Weber, the television voice of the Nashville Predators, under the weather in hospital in St. Paul, Minnesota, and we want to wish Pete a speedy recovery, and we're thinking of him, and I can't think of a better guy on the road when you're in a visiting building to help you out than Pete.
Well, he's been around a long time. Used to be the color analyst when I was in Los Angeles. Bob Miller, of course, was doing play-by-play. Pete has gone on to work in Buffalo, and of course Nashville with Terry Crisp. Just all-around quality guy.
And for a young guy just getting his feet wet, I'm telling you, a wealth of knowledge. So Pete, get better. We're thinking of you. Colin McDonald to Bailey, back to McDonald. The pass behind him. Brock Nelson. Boy, Brock Nelson's a big man, and I think he's going to get a little bigger.
Another one of the young draft picks that the Islanders have on the roster. In fact, they have 11 right now, so that's how they first started getting a dynasty here, is through the draft. And they're doing it again.
Yuri Hudler getting it out. There's Andrew McDonald, his pass off Schmid's skate. Bailey across the line. Nowhere to go with it. Goes back to the point. McDonald's shot goes off a skate over top of the glass. We keep talking about it. There's some banners here. There's some names.
Not quite the same as Montreal, but how would you like to have that? 6 players, they should say, at one time on the same team. Potvin Hall of Fame, Gillies Hall of Fame, Trottier, Bossy, Bobby Nystrom. Nobody tougher than him back then, and Billy Smith.
Nobody tougher than him back then.
Between the pipes, and of course they won 4 consecutive Stanley Cups, and they were a fun team to play against.
One more season in this building before they move into Brooklyn, and this still has that feel of 80s hockey. Not much has changed. The team, the game, but the building hasn't. Flames come up with the puck. Here's Boma. He'd like to change something. The score on that clock. Stajan cross ice. Brody had jumped into the play. He has it. Plays it behind the net. Boma. Stajan out in front. Oh, and Jones pushing off of Poso. Couldn't get to the puck. Vanek picked up. Tavares. Oposo. Giordano trying to dig it free. Poso protecting it. What a battle going on there. They're straight behind the net. Taken away by TJ Brody. Calm, cool, and collected TJ Brody, and Boma will slash this one down the ice, but it's going to be an icing call, so a face-off coming up for the New York Islanders. Now, there's a guy that started the season in Buffalo, and then things changed.
Well, Buffalo kind of knew they weren't going to be able to sign him, and they traded him away to the Islanders and received Matt Molson, plus a first and a second round draft pick in different years, and the Islanders wanting to have Vanek be a big part of their offense, which it has been. Just can get up over the glass, especially with Oposo and Tavares. One of the best lines since that trade in the National Hockey League. They've been kept together, very dangerous, quite evident tonight. And now they're finding out they might not be able to sign them. So that's a lot of it. We talked about the future of the Islanders. They've given away to a player to get this player. They've offered him some pretty good quality money, I think, and 7 years in terms. So it's going to be very interesting to see as this saga continues.
Rumor on the street, 7 years, $50 million. And the problem is, Charlie, even if you move them now, the teams you're moving to, those first-round picks are going to be lower in the draft, so you're not going to recoup the draft position that you gave up in that first-round pick.
It's something that you have to when you get in that general manager chair, which is such a big role right now, where the players you keep are probably just as important, or maybe more important, than the players you have to get rid of.
Puck goes into the corner. Joe Colborne after it. Plays it out in the middle. Not a lot of room for Calgary right now. Russell flips it into a crowd. Chopped in, they score! Oh, Sean Monahan makes it 1-0 Calgary.
Perfect shot by the youngster. They take advantage of a very rare Islander giveaway in their own zone. Joe Colborne starts it along the wall. He loses it. Then the Islanders lose it. There's that shot at the net. Hits Colborne in the back. bounces right to Sean Monahan, and there's that instinct of where you're supposed to go, what kind of shot you're supposed to get on net. Realize that he's got to get it up high over the net. It bounces, gets a piece of it, chops at it, and beats Nabokov up over the glove side. So Flames struggling to get shots and scoring opportunities, and they get the first goal of the evening.
Put a puck into a crowd, you never know what can happen. For the 15th time in the last 21 games the Islanders have played, they give up the first goal. Calgary happily will take the lead in this one late in the second period. Stempniak after it, Backlund going to the front of the net. Is there more there for Calgary? Pass goes by him, and Tavares up the ice for the Islanders. The captain gains the line, passes it off. Vanek stripped to the puck by Stempniak. Here's Hudler. Backlund finds Brody in the rush, loads up, shoots, didn't miss by much. Hudler has some room. Now Giordano, his shot, and Nabokov at the top of the crease will hang on to that. Well, the Flames and the Islanders couldn't find a goal for the first 45 minutes. Tonight's product for the Safeway Score and Win contest, Post Cereal Shreddies. Congratulations to Sean Monahan for opening the scoring in this game, and congratulations to Kelly Watkins of Lethbridge, who's won a DVD prize pack from E1.
How many times have we seen this happen? The team struggling. They get one lucky, a fortunate bounce, I should say, but you're going to traffic areas. And then the next two shifts consecutive after that, now they're in the offensive zone, a little bit more jump.
TJ Gagliardi to Paul Byron. One assist so far on Monahan's 16th of the year, and that goes to Chris Russell. But we suspect that could be changed as the back of Joe Colborne played a rather large and significant role in that goal.
The only way you get to that is to go to those traffic areas, and there's going to be contact, there's going to be pucks.
Eric Bolton playing it out in front. Martin misfires. Side of the net. Weidman is there for Calgary. Energy line out there for New York trying to cause some havoc, but here comes the energy line for Calgary. Gagliardi knocked down. Nabokov playing it ahead. Zizekas finds Martin. And Bolton a little too aggressive on the play. Trapped offside.
Canadian Pacific Goals for Kids is proudly sponsored by Canadian Pacific and its 2,700 railroaders based in Calgary. For every Flames goal this season, the Railway will donate $250 to Kids Sport and the Flames Even Strength program. Keep scoring Flames and help CP build stronger kids and stronger communities.
You know, those little math problems you give me every day to work on to strengthen my numbers. I said as we were going to break, no goals in 45 minutes. It was no goals in 35 minutes, and Sean Monahan changed that. So we're getting better, Charlie. We got the 7 defensemen, 11 forwards thing down now.
Well, that's why you do all that paperwork in crayon so we can change it.
Everything in pencil. Islanders trying to change something right now as they're trailing here in the second period. Nielsen, front of the net, out of the reach of Grabner. And Calgary dump it down the ice. Jones after it, trying to take it away. McDonald pitchforks it around the boards. Clutterbuck slashes at it. Giordano tied up with Clutterbuck. Those two know each other very well from Calgary, Minnesota days.
They don't like each other.
No.
You know that?
No, not. I mean, on the ice we're talking about. Not big fans of either's work. Nielsen off the blocker of Barrett's going to come right back to Thomas Vanek. Trying to find some room for a shot. Dishes it off. And Hickey, a slap pass, comes to Vanek. Off the blocker, perhaps the stick of Berra. That changed directions. It went over top of the net. Vanek, side of the net. Berra up to the task. Stoning Tavares right there on a nice pass from Thomas Vanek. Penalty coming up. Arm in the air, and it looks like the Flames are going to get a power play. Stempniak across the line, still with it. It's touched. The Islanders get it back. Vanek, and Calgary will go to the power play for the first time in this game.
Holding the stick will be the call. As Coach Jack Capuano probably really happy with that line, not getting goals, and then they take a power play against, and that's something you can take away some of the momentum. As you can see, Thomas Hickey holding the stick, who jumped up into the offensive zone right there. Good grab right between the hands of Michael Backlund. And he will sit for at least or partial of 2 minutes.
24-year-old Thomas Hickey from Calgary. You know, this is a big game for him. The first time he gets to play the home side squad. Calgary with the first man advantage of the game. They were 0 for 2 in Montreal. All 2 of that was a 5-on-3 for 2 minutes. And a lot of talk about inability to score on that goal and how it affected the game Tuesday night in Montreal. Right now, the penalty killers for the Islanders have the Flames at a standstill in their own end.
Cizikas doing a great job. Player in the offensive zone, just hustling around.
Well, Mike Camilleri trying to gain the line. It bounces into the Flames bench, and faceoff will be in the neutral zone. In the last 5 games that they have played, the Islanders have killed off all 14 power plays they've faced.
You see why they have been successful, just because of their quickness, and they were quite evident. Again, we do not see them very often. In fact, not till the year before last, the shortened season, that we did have a chance to the Islanders, and they have really improved on their speed, and that's really one of your best penalty killers if you can get in quickly.
Bounces straight up in the air, lands in front of Andrew McDonald. Backlund chases him to the boards. Nielsen comes over, Brody pinching in. Hudler back to lend some support, keeps it alive. Brody gets it down in the corner. Backlund knocks his man down, has the puck, finds Wideman, shoots, scores! 2-0 Calgary, power play goal.
Islanders just cautiously going to look for maybe a tripping call here, but this is where skates were banged into each other. The Islanders player went down. Michael Backlund picked it up, and he was very composed right there. Lock skates, threads that pass, and this is an NHL shot right there. As Wideman waits and waits until the screen is set up right there. And McDonald standing in front of the box off, and Wideman takes advantage of that and goes top shot. Same place that Sean Monahan went. This one with a little bit more velocity.
Wideman picks up his 4th goal of the season, 2nd power play goal, and the Flames are up by a pair. Long shot misses. Brody comes over. Comes back to the point of Poso, keeping it alive. Giordano follows up. Boma has Brody going to the net. Intercepted. Donovan got in front of that. Giordano will come over. He has it on the backhand. Crisscrossing behind the net. Plays it out front looking for Boma. And the Islanders come up with it, and here they come on the attack. Hustling to get back is Giordano. Vanek with the puck. Cross ice! And Oposo couldn't find the empty net. Vanek spilled in the corner, slow to get up. Stajan back up the ice for Calgary. Dropping it for Jones. He's leveled, but Jones able to get the shot. I'm not so sure Matt Stajan didn't know he was going to get hit. Vanek very slow to get off. Finally off. That's a storyline we got to keep our eyes on. Donovan's shot goes wide. What a hit by Donovan on Matt Stajan. Monahan gets it for Calgary. He'll play it back to Russell. Chris Russell up the ice. That one flips in. Nabokov watches it. Now he's going to play it. Wisniewski tipped up to the blue line. Bailey turning to get back is Chris Russell. Colin McDonald knocked him, but Camilleri has the puck for Calgary. Not much on that. Gets a little help from the stick of Monahan with 16 seconds to go here in period number 2 in Calgary with a 2-0 lead. The Boo Birds are out here on Long Island. Bailey goes to the net. They score! Islanders cut the lead to 1.
That's what you don't want to happen after you build up a 2-0 lead here on the road. And that's that speed to the neutral ice zone. Sets up a partial 3-on-2, and nobody picks up the late man, Hickey, the defense, and a line change by the Flames with under 10 seconds to go. So they ended up chasing up the ice, and no one's able to get to Hickey, the defenseman, quick enough as he jumps up into the play. Camilleri just a split second too late.
Hickey's 4th of the year, and the Islanders get on the board with just 6 seconds to go in period number 2. But you know, for that young man playing against the team in the city he grew up in, that means an awful lot. So it's 2-1 Calgary through 40. Coming up next, the Hockey Central panel and another edition of the Trade Tracker. take a look at the scoring summaries brought to you by Panago Pizza. Before, during, or after the game, get a fresh Panago.
Took him a while to score, but someone had to score. Sean Monahan gets his 16th of the year from Chris Russell, and Dennis Weidman on the power play for Michael Backlund and TJ Brody. This one's going to sting. 6 seconds to go. Thomas Hickey, his 4th of the year from Bailey and McDonald. Have a look at the goals right here. The shot through off of Coburn, bounces right down to Monahan. He very quick flick of the wrist, and it was all of a sudden a 1-0 game. And then Michael Backlund, there's that feed that Dennis Weidman talked about, and then that was a root right underneath the bar, and Flames at that point had a 2-0 lead.
Well, with Dennis Weidman's 4th of the year, we have our next score and win winner, courtesy of Safeway and Post Cereal Shreddies. Keith Dixon of Calgary has won a Garmin Newbie GPS. And you know what? Roger keeps mentioning that game Saturday morning in Philadelphia. Shreddies, that would be good breakfast. You could have some of that and enjoy the game.
Might have to. It's in Philadelphia. You might have to have 2 bowls. That's always tough to play there.
Oh. Do you already feel the onset of the Philly flu? Is that from your playing days?
No, Philly flu, boy.
You down a little
show up, I'll have my orange juice and 2 bowls.
20 miles to go, maybe more, as the Calgary Flames start the 3rd period up by a goal on the New York Islanders. Calgary coming into this game with the lead after 40 minutes, 13-3-2. And when trailing after 40, the Islanders are 7-19-2. The little caution I would put is that 7 wins after trailing heading into the 3rd period is the most by any club in the National Hockey League.
You can see how they have done it too, just by hard work, their skating abilities. So the Flames can ill afford to just sit back and think they're going to protect this lead. They've got to get themselves going and look for that 3rd goal. Look for a nice 2-goal cushion.
Vanek back out there after getting banged up late in the 2nd period. Maybe nobody more worried about him than GM Garth Snow as he decides his future.
He crashed hard with Giordano.
Jones gets it in the slot, goes back to the point. Brody over to Giordano, traffic in front, shoots, and Nabokov made the save, staging chasing the puck, but it comes right onto the stick of Okposo. To get it deep, still with it. That puck follows Okposo around the ice, doesn't it?
You get into that frame of mind and you're skating, you're moving your feet, you're making that puck follow you around. And we've already talked about the great numbers that he's had this season, 58 points.
Great work by TJ Brody, takes a shot away from Frans Nielsen. Calgary can't get it out. Giordano tries, Nielsen keeps it in, this one's blocked. And Schmid. Stempniak tries to give it back to Hudler. Weidman retreats, he'll pick it up. Scored his 4th of the season. In the 2nd period, Dennis Weidman did talk to Roger Millions and said, yeah, we would have loved, told us we're going to have a 1-goal lead going into the 3rd period. We'd love it. We'd take it.
They'd really loved it if they had a 2-goal lead. And they were 6 seconds away from that. And that's where you have to be very aware of what time is left on the clock. Everybody realizes the time is clicking down, but if you can stay out for that 6 seconds, you're going to make sure you're in a better position than having the guy come off the bench.
Puck comes back to the point, skips on Wisnowski, blocked away. Joe Colborne with it. He'll play it off the boards, but right into the glove of Brock Nelson. Nobody home as Wisnowski had retreated to play some defense, and that exposed the blue line. There's Bailey. Gets it deep. Colin McDonald after it. Another 2nd-round pick of the Edmonton Oilers. McDonald loses it. The Flames have it. And here's Monahan with his 16th on the season in the 2nd period. In front, Camilleri swiped, missed. Sean Monahan's game continues to grow. Bob Hartley talked about him today. He's talked about the last couple of weeks when he comes back from the Olympic break, Charlie. Plans on using him more. Plans on using him against everybody's top players. There's big plans for Monahan coming up in March. Gagliardi to the point. Schmid shot. Hits Byron. Turns around. That one lifts over top of the net. Gagliardi in the corner. Zizekas finds Donovan. His pass out to center. Martin back over to Zizekas. Shoots. Oh, and that was a high riser on Berra. He ducked. Not sure he picked it up coming off the stick. Turn around in front.
And a penalty coming up as Schmid tackled his man, Martin. Another block shot. Following it is Donovan. Again a block by Calgary. And Flames touch it. And for the fourth time this evening, the Islanders will enjoy the man advantage.
It's going to be a hooking call. Vladislav Schmid not happy with that as he gets the hand, the wave from the referee. That's the worst thing right there. You get the wave as he comes all the way through. And they're going to call it hooking. We talked about Mark Giordano. He's down in the offensive zone, loses they don't get the puck deep. Now he's on his horse. This is the play with Vanek at the end of the play. He's coming in hard, he's coming hard, and they both crash to the boards right there. Vanek got up, went straight to the box. But that's the hustle and the leadership that Mark Giordano has been bringing all year.
Play late in the second period, as we mentioned. We're curious to see if Vanek would come out. He did. As a matter of fact, he's out here for this power play, the fourth of the game for the Islanders. They're struggling with a man advantage. Right now, 0 for 28 in their last 6 games. Wisnowski at the line. Nielsen has it. Tavares after it, gets it away from Butler, picked up. Oposo back to the point. Wisnowski dishes it off. Nielsen down low. Tavares looking backdoor, comes up to Wisnowski, shoots, blocked. Oh, what a play by Lance Boma. How often do you go overboard on a block shot at a penalty kill, but you could right there.
A full slide into second, makes the block and clears it from his belly.
Back at the point, Wisnowski to the captain, Tavares. Wisnowski winds up, shoots Barrow with the stop side of the net. It's pushed wide. Oposo dumped behind the net by Brody. Fans don't like it. Flames love it. TJ Brody showing a little grit. Here comes Backlund with some speed. In! Stop! Penalty coming up. Wisnowski gets the holding call and will skate a little 4-on-4.
Great chances at both ends. First the Islanders had their chance, and a Michael Backlund outraces Wisnowski for this loose puck. Gets good body position. There's the grab right there as Backlund was trying to make the move, and this is what we talked about, Lance Boma. All the way out to Wisnowski. Where is he? Oh, here he comes. All the way across. Full face, full body, block. And how about if we just get it right out too? There's the block and the clear. And the hustle to get off.
Boma 5th amongst National Hockey League forwards in block shots. He's climbing that ladder, by the way. I believe that's his 4th block shot in this game. So some 4-on-4 hockey. Monahan comes out, turns, shoots. That one goes over top of the net. Nice power move by 23. Camilleri in the corner. What a battle he's got going, and Matt Donovan wins it. Islanders ahead. DeHaan at the line, holds up with some room. DeHaan shoots, that one goes wide. Grabner knocked down, no he's not. Wideman goes down. Penalized player back out on the ice for Calgary, so the Flames are on their second power play of this game. They're 1 for 1 with a man advantage and have a minute 13 to work with. Monahan shoots, Nabokov turns it away. Camilleri stopped by Nabokov. Mike Camilleri was right where he wanted to be in the slot. Russell to Monahan. Stempniak slides to the front of the net. Camilleri gets it back to Russell, to Wideman. Oh, through the seam. Read well by DeHaan, and Grabner has the puck. Off the bench is Brock Nelson, and Grabner has the puck tipped away. Nelson following up, but Stempniak comes up with it for Calgary. 40 seconds to go in the man advantage. Backlund just missed the post. Trying the far side maneuver if he could. Butterbuck turned back, still with it. Flames trapped offside. Now they're clear. And the Islanders will flip it down the ice. Great pace to the third period. Brody winds up in his own end. Lead pass for Jones. Down the right side, David Jones has Zizekas in his hip pocket.
4 Islanders in the corner. Now that's pressure.
Puck comes free. Hudler gets to it. Brody at the point. Wisnowski back out on the ice. Calgary 1 for 2 on the power play, but Jones didn't miss by much. Albeit an abbreviated power play right there. Backlund to Hudler. Close quarters. Finds Jones. Backlund goes to the net. Hudler the second layer of offense, but it's tipped by him. And Casey Cizikas will dump it in and head off. Reto Berra setting it up for TJ Brodie.
Degree of the pace really has picked up. The Islanders have been fast all night.
Stepniak behind the defenseman, flips it to the net. Couldn't finish. Lee Stepniak, who's been on fire of late. 9 points in his last 10 games coming in. Berra turned away. That shot came from Vanek. He's behind the net, as is Tavares, and he'll dig up the puck. Comes back to Hahn with some room. Shoots, scores! We're tied at 2.
Flames had it, they didn't have it, they had it, and then they lost it. And DeHaan does a nice job of just one little pause with that shot, and it took Lance Bouma out of the blocking area. Right here, bouncing puck, had it, didn't have it. And there's that little bit of a delay, I should say. It was Lee Stepniak. Right here, it bounces off his stick. And as he comes out to block, a little fake, and then he moves sideways, and then everybody shifted with him. And it just opened up the perfect lane for that wrist shot to beat Reto Berra on the glove side.
Tied at 2, so Calgary up 2-0 as late as 1954 of the second period, but the Islanders have crawled back in this one. And a big hit as Clutterbuck came a long way to hit Weidman. Now up the ice, Monahan after it, cut off. Picked up, and it's fired ahead. Straight got all of that pass, but couldn't find a target. Calgary across the line. Here's Colborne with room. Shoots! Stopped by Nabokov. He had Monahan right on top of him. As the third period picking up the pace, DeHaan tying the game for the Islanders.
$1 million score and win grand prize winner will receive a week of unlimited luxury at Dreams Resorts, courtesy of redtag.ca. Our grand prize winner is Al Dofka of Calgary. Congratulations, Al. Shop and swipe your club card at Safeway today. You could be our next lucky winner.
Clutterbuck, as we've seen him in the past, not afraid to throw the weight around. Catches Weidman low with that leg. Weidman got the shoulder out of the way.
Paul Byron tried to play it back to the point. It skips by Ladislav Schmid. Berra calmly, coolly, collectively plays it to Weidman. Byron back in the lineup after being a healthy scratch for the last 4. And as we talked off the top, Bob Hartley said today he had to get him back in, needed to get him back in.
Brings that energy. He's not afraid to get to the traffic areas. He's not a big player, but he will get involved physically because he skates well. He's able to get himself into those positions.
Flames have to be careful. Nearly too many men on the ice. That last goal, DeHaan, is second from Tavares and Thomas Vanek. Only the 4th game that John Tavares has ever played against Calgary, but he has 6 points in his career against the Flames. And I'm sure there's a lot of teams that talk about that when they visit the island. Young man's putting quite a career together early on. He's after the puck. Berra's there first. Brodie. Nice pass onto the stick of Michael Backlund. Hudler to the trailer. Giordano gains the line, still with it. But a nice play by Vanek. Picked the captain's pocket, and he'll dump it back into the Calgary end. Brodie there first. Brodie off the glass. Bouma trying to get by DeHaan. Donovan in the way. Bouma tried to move him. Does wrap around attempt. Puck's underneath the defenseman. Flames get it. Stajan back to Butler. Shoots looking for a tip. And Jones got it but went the wrong way. Oposo to DeHaan. 10:15 to go in the third. Shots 26-18. Things evening out in that department as the night wears on. And Matt brought in and coming back into the Islander end.
Well, I guess I have an answer to see how sore that knee is for Thomas Vanek. I think it looks pretty good. He jumps back up and play right there at the last second, just makes that one quick stride. He's able to reach in and pick the pocket of Mark Giordano. Didn't get the puck clean at first. He had to make that quick adjustment, and then he ended up having the puck taken away.
Camilleri trying to pull his way to the front of the net, taken away. Bailey gets out of the way and finds a target. Puck bounces right back to Clutterbuck. Off the blocker of Berra all the way to the blue line and out. Colborne after it. Oh, look, way back down at the other end. The net's off its moorings. 2-2 Calgary and the Islanders. It's TELUS Flames hockey. Crunch of the game brought to you by Old Dutch Foods. Quality lives here and sharing starts here.
Tonight we get a chance at the old double dip. Lance Bowman along with David Jones take down Brian Straight. Nice little combination there. And that'll be our Old Dutch crunch of the night. Lance Bowman.
Take a look at the two combatants. There's been lots of crunches in this game. It's been a very physical game. As you would imagine, you come to the island. Matt Martin leads the National Hockey League in hits. Cal Clutterbuck has held that title before. And the Flames becoming a little bit more aggressive in their play of late, too. Hudler to Wideman. Shot! Oh, that one just skipped wide. Something or someone might have caught a piece on the way through. Wideman finds Hudler. Here's Michael Backlund. Cross the line, Backlund trying to drive to the front of the net. Puck bounces up in the air. Backlund gets it. Stempniak, oh, he saw Wideman sneaking in from the point. Now it's taken away. Tavares has Okposo. Tavares trying to drive to the front of the net. It nearly worked. Okposo takes a bump along the boards. Tavares can't get the pass through. It's blocked off. Giordano down on the ice. He gets a stick from Jones, so the Flames down a stick in the defensive zone. Puck squirts free, side of the net. And Giordano using his body to shield the puck. Islanders top line buzzing right now. Thomas Hickey. He has a goal in this game. Stajan tying him up. Puck squirts free. Giordano behind the net. Sets up. And gives it back to Wideman. Long pass looking for Stajan. Turns the corner. Can he get to the front of the net? Oh, he's knocked down on the way through. A good physical battle with Thomas Hickey. And the net's off.
How close did this look to a goal scored 2 years ago? John Tavares.
Oh.
Comes off the wing. One-on-one battle. Nothing. There's nothing happening here. Nothing happening here. Oh, there's almost something happening there very quickly. He did that against the Flames a couple years ago and scored.
That's right.
That's how gifted this young man is. Matt Stajan with a good opportunity. Just half a step away from having a clear-cut breakaway. But what a great feed right here to get that puck all the way out of the zone. And then some pretty good defensive coverage by some guy named Thomas Hickey. He's got a goal. Played in Calgary. He's having himself a very good game.
I bet there are a lot of people tuned in Calgary watching him tonight and cheering him on, the former Seattle Thunderbird. And that puck goes up into the mesh. And so I know Roger Millions had a chance to talk to him in our pregame show, and you could just sense the excitement that young number 14 for the Islanders had. Off the draw, Monahan wins it to Brody. Grabner's right there. Pass ahead. After it, Colin McDonald. Russell shadowing him down the ice. Brock Nelson back to Grabner. Nelson. His pass blocked off. And it's shot into the corner by Donovan. A little surprised perhaps the puck came to him. Colborne to Monahan. Takes a bump from Grabner. Joe Colborne settles things down. He'll clear the zone. 7:34 to go in the third period. 2-2 the score. 27-19 shots favoring the home team. DeHaan goes for a skate. Brody trying to take it away. Now Schmid senses Clutterbuck in the area, so it goes the other way. Hits Colborne and it clears the zone. That one could have gone the wrong way for Calgary. It might have bounced back in. Brody. Hudler lifting it through center. It bounces. Stempniak gives chase. Michael Backlund has an assist in this hockey game. Finds Stempniak. Hudler. No Flames in front of the net till now. Backlund was in the area. Schmid finds Stempniak below the goal line. Straight. Battling with Stempniak. Hudler will take the puck. Franz Nielsen's there, but he'll go back to Schmid at the point, keeps it in, gives it right back to Hudler. Jiri Hudler to Butler, shot over top of the net. Schmid pinching in, takes a bump from Josh Bailey. The three Flames in the corner is Schmid down low pinching. Now he'll go back to work on the blue line, can't catch it, and he comes back out in the neutral zone.
He's not normally one of the defensemen jumping up into the plate, takes advantage of that, gets caught in the corner, but he stays right in there and grinds it out. And that's when you have the same number of jerseys in that corner, you might as well stay in there.
He pass up the middle, tip, this one will bounce wide of Nabokov's net. Wisniewski takes a bump from Boma. Jones trying to drive through. Behind the net, pass by him. Hickey. As it's taken away from Bolton, and Boma gives it to Jones. He'll drop it. Trailing Weidman towards the net. That hit Nabokov. Stage and they score. No goal. Which is it?
They called it, waved it off for the high stick. It was good. And then he called it a goal before the net came off. So this is going to be the whole interesting replay of this whole event. He's saying the puck was knocked down with the puck below, the stick below the shoulders. Waved that off. Went right to Stepniak, who took a bad angle shot, or should say Stajan, and got it at the net between the pads.
So David Jones parked in front of Nabokov's the screen. Matt Stajan's going to come over as John Tavares having a conversation with Wes McCauley.
They're saying that everybody thinks that Jones knocked it out of the air, but it hit Nabokov's shoulder. It didn't hit any stick. Here's that fluttery puck. Everybody misses it. Bang, hits, bounces. You get a hold of it, and there's that bad angle shot with Jones in front. It might have went off of Jones after he was standing in front of Nabokov. And then, of course, the net comes off. So there's all kinds of looking going here.
They didn't even go to the situation room in Toronto, as the goal will stand and Calgary regains the lead. Tavares doesn't like it. Wes McCauley's looking over the timekeeper. I wonder if he's waiting for the phone to ring.
Well, they had a conference between the officials on the ice, and they said no, it wasn't knocked down with a high stick. The only thing now is who's going to get the credit for the goal, because Jones's foot was right in there. Might have bounced off of that.
What a bizarre sequence. At one point, the referee's waving his arms to wave something off. Then he's pointing.
Net comes off. Is the puck in before the net comes off? I mean, there's a lot of things happening on that goal. But Matt Stajan shoots it at the net. Jones is the guy right in front. We'll see. Here's the original shot. It'll be a high shot. And Nabokov had knocked it down right there. There's the contact out in front, and it's in.
Bottom line, Calgary has a goal, and they've got the lead. Islanders with 5:12 to go in the third period. Would love to tie it again, you know it. DeHaan to Donovan. So Stajan gets credit for the goal. As Matt Stajan has put Calgary up by 1, his 10th of the year. And that one's whistled. That faceoff coming in the neutral zone. Matt Stajan knew it all along, as Calgary with a 1-goal lead on the island. Time now for our game review, brought to you by Intact Insurance. Your home, your auto, your business. Ask your broker about Intact Insurance Company.
Flames turning on the power. In fact, it was Dennis Weidman on the power play, his first in 5 games. And then the young gun, Sean Monahan, is 16th of the year, third among NHL rookies, and a guy you want to keep your eye on, Johnny Tavares, picks up an assist. That's his 6th point in 4 games versus the Calgary Flames.
Through the first period, the Flames had won only 18% of the faceoffs. They've now won 46, so they battled back here in the last 2 periods. And that led to that goal.
How much time do you think the Vanek, Tavares, Oposo line will play in the last 5 minutes when they're down by 1? Boy, they've been all over the offensive zone all night, and the Flames have done a good job with their back pressure, not allowing them those clean shots.
4:26 to go in the third. Calgary up by 1. Boma playing it in. Jones after it. Nabokov out. Pokes it away from the Flames forward. That last goal, Stajan is 10th from Jones and Weidman. So Dennis Weidman working on a 2-point game. As Tavares holds up. Pass behind Oposo. Weidman takes it away. Or pardon me, Giordano takes it away. And the puck slips behind the net. Vanek is there.
McDonald shot rattles around, and Brody knocked down by Vanek, and the puck on Monahan's stick. Pokes it by straight. Monahan railing in behind the defender, gains body position. Joe Colborne trying to keep it away from Oposo. That pass went right through Camilleri. Now Bailey laying it into the Flames bench.
Intact Insurance is proud to sponsor the Calgary Flames and all the fans who carry a torch for them. Intact Insurance, your back.
Well, Matt Stajan's 10th goal of the year makes Catherine Monroe of Calgary a winner. She swiped a free club card on behalf of Safeway and Post Cereal Shreddies, has won a Augustine, a 10-piece stainless steel cookware set. I believe the Flames have no problem giving away more prizes tonight if they can. They'd love to add to this lead. Right now, though, you got to defend. A couple of blue jerseys down in the corner. Schmid gets it up the boards and out. Here's an opportunity. No, a penalty coming up, a hooking call, and the Islanders will get a late power play, and that negates a breakaway for Stepniak.
Flames not happy with that as they get into the face of the referee, Wes McCauley. Bob Hartley has a little chuckle. He can't believe that as Harry Hudler gets a hooking call as they're clearing the zone right there. He reaches between the legs and a little bit of a spin. It set Lee Stepniak off on the races.
Fifth power play tonight for the Islanders.
Hey, guess who's back out there?
Yeah.
It's almost played 23 minutes already, 3:09 to go. John Tavares, Vanek, Oposo across the front forward line.
Off the draw, puck in the corner. Comes back to the point. Wisniewski shoots, and that one's blocked by the Flames and dumped out. 3 minutes to go in the hockey game. 1:50 to go in this power play. Wisniewski. Franz Nielsen. Tavares. Butler did a nice job of getting in the way. Tavares still with it. Now Wisniewski. Oposo. Back to Wisniewski. Some traffic in front of Berra. Pass. Makes it through. Oposo sets it up for Wisniewski. Oposo to Wisniewski. Oposo can't get a clean shot. Tavares can't get it either. Still with it. 1:10 to go in the power play. To the net. Vanek. And Berra has it. After the game, Connected is coming up with a preview. Here's Hugh Barrow. And a timeout has been called by the Islanders. Looking forward to Connected. Want to get everybody caught up on everything. A lot going on, obviously, and a lot going on in this game, Charlie.
Bob Hartley on one side working a defensive play. Obviously, number one key, win the face-off. Going back to the Islanders bench, the guy that was really orchestrating their power play. The guy was pretty good offensively. Doug Waite. He is a special assistant to two. There he is right in the center of your screen, barking out some orders. He could make things happen on a power play and has done a great job being assistant to the general manager and an assistant coach. He's learning all aspects of the game as the Calgary Flames now have amassed. This is going to be a surprise to you, Rob. 26 block shots.
Not surprised.
No, every single game. Count on about that many.
Flames win the draw. Puck played out, and after it is Backlund. Nielsen get there first. There's Lubomir Wisniewski. 2 minutes to go in the third period. 50 seconds to go in the power play for the Islanders. Oposo watched by Giordano. Butler is there. Lifts it to the corner. Vanek back to the point. Wisniewski quickly over to Tavares. He turns back to the point. Wisniewski, and Berra got a piece of it. Backlund hustles to the wall, and he'll get there for Calgary.
That's where the Islanders should have had Tavares earlier in the power play instead of Oposo on the near side wall. You want Pulse shooting it, so the Flames were able to disrupt their natural play.
Tavares, his play is disrupted, and it's dumped down the ice. 10 seconds to go in the penalty to the Flames. Jiri Hudler. Now Nabokov will head off. 1:10 to go in the third period. Calgary up by 1. Bailey across the line. Oposo to the front of the net. Hudler out of the box. Flames 5 for 5 on the penalty kill tonight. Back to get it. DeHaan. His pass ahead to Bailey. He'll flip it in. Top line out there for the Islanders on that entire power play. That means they're not available right now. As Brock Nelson plays it back, and McDonald will keep it in. Backlund gets to it, fires it down the ice. And this is going to be an icing call. So Matt Stajan's goal, his 10th of the year, gives us a winner. It's Tammy Sutherland of Lethbridge, who's won a Hoover Wind Tunnel multi-cyclonic bagless canister courtesy of Safeway and Post Cereal Shreddies. So congratulations to Tammy.
Just 6 shots in the 5 power play opportunities for the Islanders, so a lot of good credit to block shots. Lance Bowen, the penalty killers, winning some faceoffs.
Top line back out there, parts of it anyway, for the Islanders. Wisnowski. Oh, what a diving play by Brody. He'll clear the zone. Wisnowski trying to set up Vanek for the one-timer. Martin to Bailey. It's tipped in. Brody back to get it. Oposo tying him up. Brody has it though for Calgary. Off the boards. Jones gets it out. He'll chop it to center. Lifted. Wisnowski taking it away. But Calgary have it. With 10 seconds to go, Brody lifts it out to center. Martin and the Boo Birds are out as Backlund has it. A chance for an empty net goal. He scores! Michael Backlund, another 2-point game, and the Calgary Flames are up 4-2.
And you know what? Brett Tavares might win a game without it going into overtime. And that's just good hard work on the penalty killing and winning the faceoffs right there. And then composure through the neutral ice zone. They weren't giving it away tonight.
So congratulations to Catherine Monroe of Calgary, swiping a free club card, and on behalf of Safeway and Post Cereal Shreddies has won that Lagostina 10-piece stainless steel cookware set. And it took 26 appearances, but Reto Berra finally picks up his first win in regulation. After 7 in overtime and shootouts, he gets one done in the allotted 60 minutes, and Calgary wins 4-2 over the Islanders.
He knew it was going to happen sooner or later, and I think the players, after a very slow, sluggish start, really came on in the second half, and it was quite a hockey game, I think, from the 10-minute mark of the second period on. Very exciting, and Reto Berra gets his first regulation time victory.
Matt Stajan with the winner. Calgary beat the Islanders 4-2.